So I wasn't planning to do a video about this situation, but to be honest, after the kind of excuse by using autism in one of the so-called chapters of the response video, as another autistic fella, I felt I kind of needed to throw out my opinions. To be honest. So we're talking about Synnibear. Yeah, I know we talked about it already, but so for the people who do not know, for some reason, Synnibear was recently outed as a groomer who groomed a 14-year-old called Anno. I couldn't find which pronouns Anno refers to, so we're gonna use data for the video. If you, yeah. She was also accused of assaulting a roommate, Birdie, also known as Jack, which was also the one who made this accusation against his roommate. Jack also made a video about the situation where he asked for a GoFundMe so that he could go away from the apartment. The goal was reached, and as much as I know, Jack already went away. He already moved. But recently, after Synnibear made kind of an apology, we can say. Sorry if I started a lot there. This video is not scripted, so I'll probably stutter a lot. And also there are sounds in the background because my sister is playing Brawl Stars in the living room. I'm trying to kind of keep the sound as low as possible by closing the door of my bedroom. But so after the apology anyway, so now she deleted it and made a response, a part 1. There's probably gonna be a part 2, and to be honest, I'm scared what there's gonna be. I've already watched a sort of video reaction to this response, but now we're gonna watch it full. It's like 36 minutes. Why am I doing this to myself? But guess I love them still. Anyway, you'll find Jack's video in the description, and I suggest you to go to that video because he explains things very well, and you also will find links to the documents call out. Anyway, there are actually other stuff that I was forgetting to mention because, as I said, this video is not scripted. Synni was also called out for sexualizing a minor socies. Sorry, I was confusing the order of words. And even though the minor said that they do not want their OCs to be sexualized, I do not know who the pronouns of these other persons, so we're gonna refer as they them. So Synni doesn't really care, like she doubled down, and she's gonna double down about this too even here. Also, apparently there were other stuff, but just kind of hold the recap of the recent things. Apparently she also signed the minor and R-word comic with this minor characters on another one. Like, why would you send that to a minor? Why would you send that to someone randomly in the first place? So yeah, now we're gonna react to this response because I think I'm getting too big. The video I we're going to react is already very big, so I kinda need to.
Nothing in the past week has made sense. I was completely convinced that I was a predator and a groomer and that I needed intervention. I'm realizing I might not even have a clear understanding of what grooming is. I believed I groomed a child because Jack told me I did, and I believed him because I trusted him.
Or maybe it's just that you pretty much did, and even if it wasn't your initial intention, you still probably cause a lot of pain for Preheno.
Coaxed and guilted into a false confession by someone I loved and took care of. Someone I worked my ass off to provide a moderately comfortable lifestyle, not only for them, but for the 2 cats they begged me to adopt.
No, Cindy, they were calling you out for something that you did, and that was wrong. Also, Birdie has showed many proofs that you're not really being nice to him, like you told him that you were gonna kill him. Also, apparently with weapons, you said it was to defend yourself, but not gonna lie, after this good message that you can find us proof in, I think, Jack's video or still one of his tweets. It looks suspicious. Very suspicious.
One of which he fucking stole from my apartment. My conversations with Enno, while inappropriate and irresponsible, trust me, you will never fucking catch me trying to act like this was an okay thing to do.
Cine. In your apology video, which you deleted, but we can still find people reacting to it, you admit that you knew that what you were doing to Anne was wrong, yet you kept going. That is not just irresponsible. It's just pure I don't care behavior. You're saying, basically saying, I don't care if I'm hurting this child. I kept going. And it was Seno, the one who blocked you, not you.
I wasn't flirting with Enno. My messages have been misinterpreted in the most bad faith and malicious manner possible. Now that I'm having to sit alone with my thoughts for the first time in a really long time, I've been able to reflect on everything. And I've realized that I was very misled by Birdie on many things regarding psychology and psychology-related subjects. I looked to Birdie for any and all information on these subjects because it was their, quote, special interest, and I figured he'd at least know more than the average dumbass. But
damn, calling your supposed friend that you were so sorry for because he was leaving a dumbass. Like, seriously?
I've started to realize that the answers he gave me on mental health subjects depended almost entirely on what was most convenient for Birdie. Here are some actual qualifiers for what constitutes as grooming, as is listed by a simple Google search. Isolation of the child. Building the child's trust. Inappropriate communication, which includes asking for secrets to be kept, and using sexual language that the child may not understand. And educating the child on the subject. Buying gifts. Giving gifts. Giving the child special attention. Singling out the child to make them feel more mature, special, or different from other children. Showing particular interest in the child. Victim selection. And substance misuse. I did not.
Between all of these things, you did at least half of them. Like, that's not a very much good look, girl.
I did not isolate Enno. Enno was actually already isolated when they first met me. Enno has told me directly that they only ever speak to like 3 people. That being Sophia the Neko, me, and another person I don't know.
Did you genuinely thought that this was gonna make you look better? You basically said that they were already isolated. Like, if that makes it better, actually makes it worse. It pretty much means you just choose a perfect victim, or if you didn't choose it, you simply had a victim that was easier to groom whenever it was really your intention or not.
I never got jealous if they hung out with other people instead of me. I never told them who they could and could not hang out with. I didn't want to control who they were hanging out with. I wouldn't get upset if they didn't talk to me. The only thing I can think of that probably looked like I did is if I said something in their DMs and they took forever to respond, I would get anxious and think that I upset them somehow.
First, I don't really know what this has to do with everything other than maybe the isolation part. But based on videos that I watched that had proof, screenshot proof, you would get upset if Anno didn't draw your fan art for your little desires. I don't remember exactly which video because I watched many videos about this situation, but I'm pretty sure you did. If I can find it, I'm gonna put a little clip.
Child's trust. I don't think I was ever even interested in building their trust. The only thing I was ever really concerned about was making them upset or uncomfortable. In fact, it already kind of seemed like they just automatically trusted me with a lot. I didn't really have to do anything on that front. Even
as I said with the isolation part, you simply had an easier victim because they already trusted you, which kind of makes it bad because they trusted you since the start and you broke their trust by pretty much grooming them. And whenever it was your intention, you still sent porn and other very disgusting stuff to a minor, which was 14. And as much as I know, there is no damn state in the US which age of consent is 14. So you cannot even try to use the excuse, the age of consent is no, because there is no age of consent that low, at least in the States. Also, it's still illegal whenever the age of consent is 16 or not, as much as I know. Unless it is in my country, the age of consent sent in Italy for some reason is still for 14, even though everyone considers it still considers it wrong for an 18-year-old to stay with a 14-year-old because of the age and maturity gap, luckily. But still, you can, even in that relationship, even if it's technically legal by law, you cannot send or receive any sexual stuff from them. And even if it was, many Italians or many Italians, at least the ones that I know, do not still agree with the stuff morally. So just because, law is not always the best for morality.
deny that my conversations were inappropriate and I shouldn't have been having them, to begin with. The only instance of me asking them to keep something a secret would be me saying to them, please don't tell the public I'm depraved. The secret's kinda just out now, I don't care anymore. I never intended to keep our relationship a secret. That was never even something I was intending to hide. It was also never my intention to educate Enno on any particular, sex shit. I don't know. Now that I think about it, majority of the inappropriate conversations we had revolved around sadomasochism and, sadistic fantasies.
3 things. Number 1. With saying that you told them to keep a secret about you being depraved, means that you did one of the steps. Number 2, it's not that talking about sadism, masochism, and all the stuff makes you look that better. And lastly, some of the definitions you literally put on your video just contain sexual. Like, come on, girl, if you wanna defend yourself, at least do it well.
Buying gifts or giving gifts. Didn't do that. Enno actually made a shit ton of gifts for me, but I don't think I've ever made anything in return, which saying out loud makes me feel kind of shitty, but...
Maybe because you are. Just a bit, maybe? Yeah, a bit more. Like, come on, do you seriously admit that and thought it will make you look better, bro?
No, I never made any gifts for Enno. Now, I did ask them to make things for me a lot. The most inappropriate thing I think I've asked was for, a comic. I'm not gonna pretend I'm justified for doing that. No, I think it was inappropriate. Fucking weird and cringy.
You just admitted to it that you made Enno draw sexual and inappropriate stuff for you, and you defined that as just, oh, weird and cringy. Girl, shut the fuck up, please.
I did not select them. In fact, they talked to me first. So
yeah, they came to you first. And, as the adult, you should be the one mature enough to, maybe simply say to them, hey, sorry, I made a promise to not talk to minors anymore, because you did. So please do not drag me with me on Discord, thank you. Instead, you broke that promise, talked to them, and then sent all that stuff. Whatever it was, grooming or not, Whenever it was your intention or not, you're so shitty. You broke your promise, and you literally just keep downplaying, like, oh, it wasn't grooming, so come on.
There's some other things that we really need to discuss when we're talking about this whole grooming situation. So firstly, I am a hetero woman. I am attracted to men, as you
I do not have the best memory, but I don't remember you saying that being attracted to the child is a step of grooming. Also, you still exploited that child. You still made them draw those things. You sent them those comics. And seriously, those comics, as much as based on what I heard, like a 50-page R-word comic, like, if I were you, I wouldn't have sent that to that adult either, even if that adult was older than you, because you cannot send that to someone randomly like that.
I did not reach out to Enno, and it took Enno 3 months of persistently pestering, prying, and giving me gifts before I finally gave in and spoke to them.
As I said, you are the adult. You made a promise to not talk to minors after you literally did the same with a 17-year-old when you were 19. The age gap might not be predatory, but you still sent a very weird stuff, as much as I heard. Also, if they kept pestering you, maybe, I don't know, tell them, hey, sorry, I made a promise to not talk to minors, so please do not interact with me on Discord, or maybe, just block them. The block button is for a reason. Okay, yes, that may have been more a bit offensive, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe the first one is a bit better. Though you said to not talk to minors, so it will make more sense the second, but whatever. You should have not talked to them just because they were pestering you. You should have just or blocked them or said that to simply do not interact.
So they sent me an image of me laying in bed, and I made a joke about it being inaccurate because Boy wasn't there. Once Enno started indulging in my very strong autistic infatuation with Boy, that's when I started talking a lot more. And as we kept talking, I felt a lot more comfortable sharing certain things about the character that I liked, including personal fantasies.
And you should have not done that. You should have not encouraged a minor to get into an obsession like yours to a character that the creator stated they do not want to be sexualized and stuff, and you should have not talked about those fantasies with them. End of story. It was seriously that easy not to do that. You could have just said thanks for the fan art, and maybe also still, say to not interact on Discord because I made a promise to not talk to minors. But no, you had to do that for some reason.
I really should have filtered myself when talking to this person. Definitely should have practiced some restraint.
You should have not talked about it at all. You should have not talked with Hanno at all because you made a promise to not talk to minors after what happened with a 17-year-old. Also, I heard there were also other people who were minors in some of your group chats where you share those things. I believe it was in some documents. I saw the video and the screenshots. I do not really remember which one, but I believe there was. I also believe there was a doc about it that is linked in another document because I briefly saw the 2 other documents that were made against you. So yeah, it's kind of a repetitive behavior. And why are you you kind of sounded like, oh, they interacted with me first, so I'm innocent. Like, you kind of, I don't know if it's your intention, but you're sounding like that.
This was 2 girls talking about Jeremiah down the block and how hot he is.
Sydney, sending a minor explicit stuff is way more than just a locker talk about whoever Jeremiah is. Like, come on, you cannot downplay this shit like that. You cannot. Anyway, pretty much the rest of these accusations are just she brings her another YouTuber and her therapist, in which we do not actually hear her. She just says, well, my therapist said it wasn't grooming, even if we do not know exactly what she told them, and if they really said to her that it wasn't grooming. Then there's the YouTuber also trying to downplay what Jack said and say it was a grooming, even if I heard there are very bad allegations against this YouTuber as well. Also, the two of the live streams were apparently made with stolen art from another person who was actually trying to help Birdie, and they downplayed the YouTuber downplayed that as well. Now let's just now talk about let's just go about to the next section.
Jack has decided to ride the wave of this controversy to accuse me of sexual assault. But I think anyone listening to what Jack said should be able to recognize that what actually happened is he retracted his consent long after what happened.
Jack explicitly said that you touched them without his consent, at least in some parts. Cindy, you're gonna explain that later, but I already saw it, so I already know how to argument with you because your argument was so dumb. It's literally the reason I'm making this video in the first place. And also, people can revoke consent at any time. That's something true. It's not that we can say much about it. Like, people can revoke consent. And if you really, and to be honest, if you really felt bad about making him sad, I don't think you would do this, not gonna lie.
I have been labeled a child predator, I've been framed as a sexual deviant, described and implied to be a violent degenerate, and an aggressive rapist.
Well, you groomed a child, or at least still sent explicit things to them. You also touched Jack unconsensually, and you threatened to kill him and also both weapons, which are proof that are gonna be shown by Jack and by people that are covering the situation that I'll put into the description. Also, Jack says that you essayed him. Do you know rape is not the only case of sexual assault? Like, do you know
They
that?
declined and I respected their answer. This was out of morbid curiosity, and honestly, that shit was gay as fuck. I'm just a girl.
First, stay saying you're just a girl. Secondly, and it's just me or that was kind of misgendering and transphobic.
For $10,000 in like 3 days was that he didn't feel safe living with me anymore. As if I'm some sort of evil, deranged, violent rapist that was gonna groom Jack next for saying awful shit about me in the next room.
Well, who wouldn't feel unsafe around you after what you did?
Ironic, considering I was a fucking sobbing mess on the couch, laying in the fetal position, breaking down over the awful shit that he said to me.
And that's trying to make people feel bad about you.
In many different avenues. Jack has isolated me from my only real-life friends, and socially engineered my coworkers against me.
Well, what a normal person will define a groomer? Like,
As long as we're all still here, I would like to talk about Jack's video that he made about me. He's the one who brought the situation to the public.
actually, there were tweets and YouTube videos about you before Jack made his video and you made your all the deleted apology. So actually, no, you're lying. He's not the one who brought this to the public.
I'm not sure why he felt like he needed $10,000 from a GoFundMe just to get away from me. That's a shit ton of money. Maybe it's for a fresh start, but it feels a bit exploitative.
Synnibear, you've been talking for a lot in your video about how it was hard to keep financing for you and Birdie. You should know how hard it is to live in the world these days. The average rent in the US, based on my small research, is over $1,500 per month. In Italy, it's a bit less, but it can reach those quotes too, and get even higher. So you should know, or it's like basically those 10,000 are literally for less than 10 months. And also, it needs food, food for the cat, medications because that you might need, because there's no insurance in the US. You need to buy an insurance, so of course it's gonna need all this money. Like, I thought you were supposed to know that.
How we spent 4 days in Seattle for vacation, and Jack's family was exceptionally generous.
Wow, an abusive family won't act abusive in front of people. Fork found in kitchen, chat.
He didn't consent to me poking him in the ass or in the crotch, which I have to say, I don't know if he ever made it explicitly clear that he didn't like me poking him in the ass, and I do genuinely feel bad if I was making him uncomfortable by doing that. I say in the recording he took of me, by the way, I had no fucking idea I was being recorded, I tell him I thought he was joking when he told me no. There's a lot of things that I do to Jack expecting a specific reaction because he makes funny noises. I would often grab his face and squish it in my hand and he'd make a murr sound, and I thought it was funny. I would hold his nose closed, and when I let go he would inhale really hard. Funny. I'd pinch his double chin and he'd say, "My gizzard." Funny. When I poked him in the ass, he would scream. Not a guttural scream, like it would be easy for me to assume that he was scared or upset. It was like a silly scream, like, "Ah! Ah!" Last time I remember doing this, though, he didn't react at all. He was playing with Squirp on the cat tree and I poked him in the ass and he didn't react. He just kept playing with the cat. He didn't even flinch. How am I supposed to know that you don't like what I'm doing if you don't tell me? If you told me before, then it wasn't really clear. You gotta be explicit with me. I'm autistic. I'm stupid.
This was one of the most stupid, gross excuses I ever heard in my life. Like, what you said here is not making you look better. Secondly, you cannot use autism as an excuse. And if you didn't know, you could have asked him if he wanted to, if he really wanted to, in the ass. Like, you say you didn't know because his no seemed jokingly. You could have go and asked, "Hey, when you say the no first, was it like a joke or not? Like, is it that hard to you?"
Says I poked him in the crotch, and I have 2 memories of doing this, and both times I immediately apologized afterwards. I poked him in the gents on accident because I was trying to poke him in the ass and I went too low, and he told me, "You poked me in the veg!" And I apologized profusely and stressed that I didn't mean to. I poked him in the pubic area once and then immediately asked if it was okay to do that, and to be frank, I don't actually have a clear memory of his.
This is not making you look that good, Sydney. Also, what do you mean you poked him there and then asked if it was okay? You should ask that first, not after.
I'm gonna be honest, I consented to this because I've never had an IRL friend before and I didn't know what kind of touching was and wasn't okay.
My brother in Christ, you are an adult. You choose what touching is okay. There is no rule book.
You are an adult, yet you cannot understand why talking explicitly and sending pornographic imagery to minors is wrong. So pretty much the rest of this part is, I did this for you, I did everything for you, I did that. You cannot do this after what I did to you. That, and it sounds pretty much abusive, like those abusive families. And I gave you a hat, those abusive families saying, I gave you a house, I gave you this, I gave you food, and this is how you treat me. Yeah, it kind of sounds like that. Like, also, we are talking about the grooming allegations. Like, you wasted only 8 minutes talking about Anna, which is the main focus on all your allegations, and now you keep talking about Birdie. Like, you're so obsessed with Birdie, leave him alone. Now Cindy is gonna briefly talk about her obsession with Boy, and since this video is unscripted, I'm actually working on this on different days. This is the third. I did not work much yesterday because I slept the whole afternoon, but I now came back to working. I found out that Boy's creator uses she, her pronouns. I corrected that with a text on the only instances that I found in the video where I talked about er. So from now on, we use sheer pronouns.
My obsession with boy. Let's talk about boy. Something that keeps getting brought up is the fact that I'm simping over a minor's character. Okay, who fucking cares? The character is an adult, that is what matters. Sock is uncomfortable with how I'm using boy. They blocked me, I don't care. I think I've made it very clear in the leaked DMs that I think Sock is way too sensitive when it comes to their characters. I think it's insanely stupid to post your characters online and then get upset when people get invested in your work. Not allowing people to ship your characters, ship themselves with your characters, make headcanons for your characters, kin your characters when you're posting them to the internet where everyone can see them is fucking ridiculous. Just
Chat, is it wrong to have boundaries on the internet? Because last I checked, it isn't.
watch me continue to have beef with Sock.clip.
I wanna say something. I know this doesn't have to do with Jack. Maybe I should also stop talking about him when he has nothing to do with this, but it's kind of funny where she says that if Jack told her that to not do that stuff, she would have stopped, when she cannot even respect the simple fact that Sock doesn't want her to use her characters for this stuff. Like, come on.
Before I get into my biggest concern, here's some smaller critiques that Jack had about me. He had an issue with me talking about sex AIs in my 13 plus server. This is actually something I believe was a problem. I shouldn't have talked about it in my server. That was irresponsible and cringe. And you know what? Someone did actually DM me saying that I shouldn't have been doing that, and I agreed with them and didn't do it again.
I genuinely hope that you didn't do that again after they told you. But what you consider just irresponsible and cringy is more than that. The minors that trust you, that probably idolized you, could have gone into those chats by you mentioning them. Because of course, who wouldn't want to do the same thing that a favorite YouTuber does? It could have endangered many minors. You should take that more seriously than just a bit irresponsible and cringy.
I believe I contemplated making like a public apology within the server, but my mods told me not to. I don't have any evidence of this because the server was deleted and I didn't know how to export the files. So take what I say with a poke in the ass. Boop. Jack.
Are you genuinely fucking kidding me? You say, oh Jack, I'm sorry for poking you, I just did not understand. And then you do this joke? Like, not even 10 minutes later? You cannot, girl. I swear, the first time I heard it, which was like a few seconds ago from this recording, I was genuinely like, what the fuck, girl? Not genuinely, I really hope Jack files a restraining order on you.
Think I'm gonna get you? Do you think I'm gonna hurt you? Genuinely, how are you in danger by staying with me?
Well, Jack has talked and showed proof of multiple times where you said you wanted to kill him, or said stuff that could be considered that, without also talking about the proof that I showed earlier about you buying a crowbar, a knife, and a pepper spray for so purposely self-defense, even if I think like pepper spray was enough. If it was only pepper spray, I will believe that maybe it was really for self-defense. But what do you need a knife and a crowbar for? Of course he's gonna feel endangered by you. Like, come on.
I've given anything to prove that I was willing to get better for him.
Cindy, you should try to get better, to not hurt anyone else. Not for Birdie, well, a bit for him too, so he can feel safer around you, you know. But you should do this mostly for Anno and to make sure you do not hurt other victims, that you don't add more victims to your count. You should do this mostly to protect others and yourself. Okay, so the rest of the video is basically talking about Birdie again, about how she thinks Birdie and Soph endangered Hanno even more. Also, she begs Birdie to come back even after everything she said. She tries to blame that on his borderline personality disorder, something that Birdie actually said she was gonna do like 2 weeks before this video came out, between 1 or 2 weeks. I don't really remember that at the moment. and she says again, I promise to not talk to minors. Let's hope she actually does that. She also explains the weapons thingy that we mentioned before, that it was because she thought Birdie sent people at her house and they were gonna kill her. I really hope it's that, and she was not actually thinking about endangering Birdie. I genuinely hope that. But still, I can see, Cindy, that your paranoia and anxiety is really making you do stuff even dangerous. I genuinely scared, both for you and for the people around you, for Birdie and everyone else, because you're clearly unstable, and I'm scared that you could do something drastic to yourself and everyone around you. So this is pretty much the end of the video. Please do not harass anyone, not even Sini. I understand the temptation, but harassment is not gonna do anything. Like, it's not like harassment is gonna ungroom Hano and eliminate the possible trauma that the victims of Sini went through. Also, based on other things that Sini said, and she clearly blames Birdie for everything that happened and has made threats of killing him. Let's hope she doesn't do anything drastic. So, like, I fear that she's gonna blame the harassment on Birdie, and that it may bring her to actually endanger Birdie and do something drastic to him, herself, people around her. Like, it's mostly because I fear that something worse can happen, and to be honest, already a lot happened, and I do not really want that worse happen to anyone. So, I don't know if Cindy can be considered a pedophile, because technically grooming and pedophilia are not the same thing, and I genuinely hope she's not a pedophile. That would make everything worse. But still, she's very predatory. She's a groomer, and even if she wasn't, she's still predatory and endangered the child. This response was shitty, seriously. Going through it, I was losing motivation of actually making this, but I know this is a very important topic, especially with third excuse of autism. This is not about me, of course. I just wanted to say a bit stuff about like, I subscribed to her once because of the Sense Vanguard thing is I watched her video about Lio Convoy and Oculus speeches. I felt relatable to her because we are both we're both autistic people, both having Asperger syndrome. They actually choosing another name, but it's mostly to make people understand, mostly because many people still refer it as Asperger, still high functioning autism. I really hope they choose a new name soon, because I swear high functioning autism it's kind of a long name. Okay, I'm a lazy person, so I felt relatable to her because of that, and the fact that she used this as an excuse for what she did kind of broke me. It kind of made me mad, but this is not about me. I just wanted to explain part of my perspectives, but of course the support should not go to me. It should go to Anno and everyone, and all, to Anno, Birdie, and all the other victims. The focus is them, not me. I just wanted to ramble about my opinions about this response. So please go support the victims and spread awareness about the situation without harassing. I don't want that things get worse because of anything else. I genuinely want this to kind of be in the end. I just hope that Cindy leaves the internet, even because she's clearly too unstable to stay on the internet right now, and I genuinely hope that Anna will manage to somehow continue their life even after this, that Purdy can arrive into a safe place, both financially, socially, safely, that everyone could be saved, and that Cindy is not gonna endanger anyone else again. I genuinely hope that. But also, any member of the group chat, there was another adult. Does anyone know who they was? Because that adult, as much as I know, could still endanger minors. We should talk about it as well. But this is kind of the end. Go support the victims. This is not the kind of content that I really want to make completely. I mostly made this channel for other kinds of art related topics and my interest. I wasn't really planning to make things like this one and Ongoneko that we made last time, but I just wanted to share some of my opinions with that, as because you know I'm autistic too. With Ongoneko, I'm a new artist, and seriously, the response was bad. I thought, do I truly say that? Even because I had a black. Well, it's not about Ongoneko right now. I don't know. This video is unscripted. Sorry for going off topic. But anyway, this is not really the kind of content that I want to make, so if you really want to subscribe, remember that I'm gonna post mostly about my interest. Soon maybe gonna make something else. To be honest, well, let's not go off topic right now. Let's just finish the video. I hope you enjoyed it, even if enjoying this thing is kinda hard. Maybe we'll see each other again. We'll see in the future. I hope that I'm gonna come back after this video with a more lighthearted topic. But yeah, this is the end. I rambled too much.